Hey there, welcome to the Hot Slice, the weekly podcast brought to you by Pizza Today magazine. I'm your host, Jeremy White, editor in chief of Pizza Today, joined by the one, the only Denise Greer, who is Pizza Today's executive editor. Hey, Denise.
Hey, Jeremy. Yes, I'm an original. We'll just put it that way.
OG,
Definitely.
OG, DG, DG
That's
the
right.
OG. That's
That's
how that's
right.
how it goes.
We're pretty busy right now, I gotta say. We got a lot going on right now with Pizza Today.
Yep.
We're getting ready, so y'all need to know is I'm gonna start hitting you up here very soon, here in the next month, for the survey for our annual operator survey, but we're
It's
changing it
coming.
up this year. It's not going to be as long. We're not going to ask you some of the same questions, so you're going to be able to fill it out quicker. But we're going to get some really good insights from you. So just know that that's coming in August. Um,
It's coming, and the Pie Awards are still open. They close August 5th. So submit your
mhm.
entries for the Pie Awards. We're working on the PizzaCon event, which is scheduled for November 7th in Philadelphia. And obviously, we just recently published our list of rising stars, which is always a lot of fun and always stirs a lot of interest. So yeah, there has been a lot going on.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. And let's just talk about these rising stars because
Yeah.
I'm going to tell you, we actually had a lot of people that we had in the mix for this. There
Hmm.
were a lot of people that like I posted the rising stars and they were like, "Oh, I wish I were in the rising stars." I'm like, "You were in the running," because there are just so many impressive pizzeria people out there right now, and I just want you to know we see you, we see what you're doing. Keep it up because you're just making a name for yourself, and it's amazing to
Yeah.
watch.
Absolutely. And then I won't mention names, but I will tell you that there were three people on this year's list that were heavily in the discussion last year. And I won't say missed the cut because they're all outstanding, but
Yeah,
just didn't quite, we have limited space and
yeah,
just didn't quite get squeezed in last year. We'll put it that way.
yeah, yeah,
But they're all three in this year. So
yeah.
to your point, Denise, yes, we see you working hard. And if you feel like that you're a difference maker and you're an up and comer and that you feel like you deserve to be in the discussion, you probably are. And you probably are watching you, and you just might find yourself mentioned in the Rising Stars next year or the year after. And obviously, don't be afraid to reach out to us and tell us about your pizzeria
Yes,
because Denise, we don't know every pizzeria in the country, and
absolutely.
I'm sure that somewhere under the radar right now is a really phenomenal pizzeria that you and I have never heard of. So
Yeah.
reach out and tell us.
Well, that, and we have so many places that we like to feature pizzeria
Yeah,
operators and pizzerias. Two
all year
very
long.
great ones in the magazine are
Yep.
Conversation and Destination. So those I'm in charge of. So if you send me a note, so send it to dgreer@pizzatoday.com, and say, "Hey, Denise, I'd be a great person to interview for Conversation or to put in Destinations." We'll consider that. We also, Jeremy, have a new feature called Pizza of the Week, Pizza
Of the
Today's
week.
featured pizza of the week. So this is where, because we get on Instagram and there's just all these beautiful pizzas on Instagram that are just
Yeah,
creative. Now, traditionalist, you might be a little unhinged about this column because we're focusing in on innovative and new and different. So yeah, one of them did have pineapple on it. I'm so sorry. so uh, so we're looking at, the creative side of the pizzeria industry because these pizzas of the week that we see, or pizzas of the day, pizzas of the month, they're all very creative and they get
they are.
outside of the box. And so if you want to reach out to me, if you have a pizza, tag it on Instagram, tag us on Instagram, Pizza Today, and we'll take a look at it. But yeah,
Absolutely. You
so
know, Instagram is that kind of that black hole that you can get sucked into for hours. I mean, I could
yes, I
scroll
do.
Instagram looking at pizza photography for hours on end. There's so many pizzerias out there that either hire a really good qualified professional or are just really handy with their iPhone and have the right lighting and understand how to frame a good photograph. And we see so many just mouth-watering, captivating pizzas on Instagram. And honestly, when you, myself, Josh, Katie, when we come across one, we're like, wow, this looks legit. We usually reach out to the owners, start a conversation,
Yeah.
form a relationship, and then, like you said, they might find themselves in a Q&A, they might find themselves on a podcast. We
Yeah.
might go and visit them, but they end up usually getting some sort of love from us in
Yeah.
one way or another.
Yeah, and well, our guest has the most beautiful Instagram photography of her pizzas.
And now we know why.
And yeah, we know why. Her husband is a professional photographer, so that is great. Um, but her pizzas are amazing.
Yeah.
So on the podcast today, we are talking to rising star Marisol Doyle, and she is from Leña Pizza and Bagels in Cleveland, Mississippi. And
Yeah.
she is just on fire. She just was in a New York Times article for like top pizzas in the country, and it really uh, set her off in a major way in the past couple of weeks. So she's an amazing,
Mhm.
amazing Pizzaiola and operator, and combining the bagel business with pizza. And she has her own unique twist on pizza. I
Mhm.
love what she's doing, Jeremy.
Yeah, likewise. And she is the embodiment of a rising star. She truly is rising right now. She was mentioned to us by several people. You and I both reached out to some really well respected and great pizza makers and pizzeria business operators across the
Hmm.
country, and just asked, who do you see out there that's doing things on a high level? And her name was brought up multiple times, so
Yeah.
people have taken notice. Obviously the New York Times took notice of this small town
Yeah.
pizzeria about, what, I think a little over a couple of hours from Memphis, Tennessee's
Yeah.
probably the closest city, maybe Jackson. I'm not quite sure, but yeah, she's a small town in Mississippi, and she's just doing amazing things, and people are taking notice, and she's getting a lot of press.
Yeah. And you know, one thing I love is she said she had no experience with pizza or bagels, like zero, zilch. She did work
Ah,
in the restaurant industry, but had no experience. And then her and her husband decided to go to Italy. And they're like, we're going to
yeah,
go to a school and we're going to learn how to do this. Um, and so I find that fascinating that they were willing to go educate themselves and say, hey, we're going to change it up. I want to own my own business. Here's how
yep,
we're going to do it.
yeah. It's impressive because we know people have honed their craft over decades to get to where they're at. And quite frankly, Denise, we know people who have been at it for decades and still don't do a real good job. We know some of those people too. They're out
I
there,
don't know
right?
any of those people.
And here's someone who got on the map really quickly.
Absolutely. Well, she's doing great things. So let's just jump into the conversation because
Yeah.
conversation with Marisol was amazing, and I think you'll get a lot of insights from her, whether you're a new operator or a seasoned operator, because she brings so much energy and a lot of new ideas to the industry.
Yep. Let's bring her on.
Performance Food Service is proud to deliver high-quality products, innovative technology, and custom operational solutions to restaurants of all sizes across the country. The flagship division of Performance Food Group, with deep roots in the restaurant industry, Performance Food Service has been the exclusive distributor of the Roma family of brands for more than 65 years. This signature relationship has allowed Performance Food Service to become a leader in the pizza and Italian segment of food service nationwide.
I'm Genevieve Ruby, a fifth-generation dairy farmer here in Humboldt County, California. Did you know that 99% of California's dairy farms are family-owned? And we're proud to sustainably produce the milk that goes into quality cheeses you use to create your delicious pizzas. Thanks for helping make California not only America's #1 dairy state, but the leading producer of mozzarella too. We hope you enjoy this podcast.
All right. Well, welcome to the show. Hello.
Thank you so much for having me.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, first off, let's say congratulations. If you don't know, she's made our rising stars of the pizzeria industry. And I don't know if you know this, but we actually reach out to a lot of leading pizzeria operators, and your name actually came up from several of them. So,
Yep.
so it's a neat way that we like to recognize people that we see on the rise in the industry, some up and comers. So, congrats.
That's amazing. Thank you. I had no idea how what the process is, and for you guys to select it, I'm honored. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
It's always a good thing when other people who run a pizzeria and are successful and know what they're doing and know what they're talking about say, hey, you should take a look at her. She's doing good stuff. That's about the biggest honor you can get, is for your peers to recognize that you're doing a good job.
Absolutely. I'm in a bubble. Like, I'm in
Yeah.
Cleveland, Mississippi, and then in the heart of the Mississippi Delta. So I feel like very bubblish, and I'm just coming here and doing my job and opening the restaurant, and I don't get to like talk to people in the industry that much. So when I hear that, it's just it's incredible. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Absolutely. Well, so you have a unique start for your business. It actually started out with the bagels first, and then the pizza was added later. Can you tell us a little bit about kind of how you got to start with Lena?
Yeah. I've worked in the restaurant business for like most of my life. And in 2012, no, 2015, I said, I'm done with the restaurant business. I'm never doing
Mhm.
this again. So I started working for a chiropractor, and I was like the office manager type. And into fast forward like a year, like a friend of mine was like, we should do something at the local farmers market. And she had bagels in mind because she was looking for a job, and she had time on her hands. So she was practicing doing bagels. She got this recipe from a friend from up north. So she was practicing, and I had no knowledge about bagels or baking at all. So we just started practicing in her kitchen. And we were doing sourdough bagels, and we thought they were the best we've ever had. And we were practicing, and they were like little bricks, like they wouldn't float, like they were just like awful looking. But we brought them to the Cleveland Farmers Market. We started in the summer of
Yep.
2016. We sold out in the first like 30 minutes, and we were
Oh,
like, okay,
wow.
we have something here. And like we kept doing that, and we did that for 5 years. Thankfully, we changed our recipe. We like better our recipe. They're like more New York style bagels. And we just went away with the sourdough because I we couldn't we couldn't make it work.
Mhm.
And yeah, like we did that for 5 years. We opened up a little bagel shop about 45 minutes from here at a local coffee shop in Clarksdale, Mississippi. It was called Meraki, and they
Mhm.
also have a it's like working it's a nonprofit, and they work with the local youth. So they have the kids go through the coffee shop process. So it was just me and my friend doing bagel sandwiches. And by the time that we were expanding a little bit, she had to move away, so we closed up
Mhm.
shop. I couldn't do it by myself,
Yeah.
45 minutes from here, so I came back to Cleveland. I was still working at the chiropractor, and my husband Rory was like, he could see me that I was missing doing something. So he was like, you should try pizza. And why don't we go and take a class? Like, I'll take the class with you. Like,
Yeah.
let's go to Naples and go like straight to the source. I did my little research. I found this school that is it's a school and it's a restaurant at the same time. It's like
Mhm.
working at pizzeria school,
Yeah.
Scuola de Pizzaioli. And it's outside of Naples. It's in Bagnoli. So I contacted the teacher owner, and he got back to me. I signed us up, and we just took off. Like in 2022, we took our first class, and we fell in love with it.
Awesome.
Just the passion, like this teacher's passion, and like he was teaching us. We were with 5 other guys, and we had a great time. We learned a lot. We came back from our trip, and we were like, okay, let's get serious. And that's how it all started.
And
What
how
made you
long?
choose that style of pizza?
Well, so I lived in Mexico, and the pizzas that I grew up with, no, I
No.
they were not the best. Growing up as a kid, I thought they were like the best, right? But
Yeah.
Mhm.
the first pizza that I've had, that like took my breath away, and that I remember every time, I went to Pizzeria Bianco,
Mhm.
2005.
Yeah.
And I just remember the experience. It was in the summer, the middle of summer, Phoenix. The heat is like, it's so hot, and we waited.
I was
Like,
gonna say, you're waiting
Yeah.
for 2 or 3 hours.
we were there at 3 p.m. They opened at 5, and we put our name on a list, and you couldn't go anywhere because you would lose your spot.
Yeah.
And
Right.
and it was just an experience. I was there with friends, and once they call our name, we sat down, and like they bring all these pizzas like with the oven. We could
Mhm.
see the oven and see them working,
Mhm.
and the whole experience, like I remember it. So when my husband and I were talking about it, we always like talked about Bianco, and that's the style that we wanted to try out. And we
Okay.
love Italy too, and we wanted an excuse to go to Naples too. So
Yeah.
Don't we all?
yeah.
Denise, what a great person to draw inspiration from. And at that time in 2005, Chris Bianco was still in the restaurant daily, making almost
Yeah.
every pizza, if not every pizza. So you definitely had a pizza touched by the golden hand, and I can see why it set you off on this experience. And to me, it's crazy that to think that your husband said, "Yeah, let's just go to Naples and let's just make pizza." And now here you are. That's what a great story, because you could have gone to New York, could have gone to lots of places and dabbled, and you said, let's go to the motherland and figure this out. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, and like we search other schools, and we just we just wanted to go and experience, and also make a trip of it.
Mhm.
And every day that we were there, we made it our mission, like, to go to different pizzerias too.
Yeah.
And that was great. I just It's hard. I mean, I'm talking to you guys, and I'm like, man, I did that. Like,
Yeah.
That's awesome.
because from the moment we said let's do this, it's just been go 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 nonstop. Like, from getting the building. The building was like, there was nothing inside. We signed the lease, and then we had to have it ready by a certain time, because
Sure.
just like building codes, and here, and like trying to bring the oven as well. It's been a whirlwind since 2022.
Tell us a
2022.
little bit just about your spot. How many seats? Tell us just a little bit about your business in the restaurant that you drew up after you went and visited Naples, and you decided, okay, I'm going to do this. I'm going to serve pizza and operate a pizzeria. Um, what did you dream up for yourself?
Well, so we did this because my husband is a freelance photographer,
Mhm.
and he's like super successful, because he's so good at what he does, and I was very envious his freedom, of that he knew what he wanted to do. So I've always like struggled, like trying to find my place, or a career. And I've been in the restaurant business, and until I found what I wanted to do, but then I realized I am good at what I do. I love like customer service, talking to people. And so thinking about that, I said, we talked about it. Okay, if we do a restaurant, what would we do? And then, okay, let's do pizza. Okay, let's go to Naples. This is just like the conversation. We'll go to Naples. We came back. We were looking at places where we can do something small. Like I wanted to do something small, manageable, for so friends, family, the community can come, and it'll just be for us. It'll be something for me as well, so I can work and I can find my place, my career. And I found this like spot in downtown Cleveland, and I can see about 28 people.
Okay.
It's a 28, and as you come in, we have big windows in the front of the restaurant, and it's very skinny and narrow. So you come in and there's seating on both sides. And then the first thing you see is a cashier, and it's counter service. So you see the cashier, and then behind the cashier, you see the oven.
Yeah.
So you see the oven, and you see us working, stretching the pizza, making the pizza. I also have a little waiting area. I have a couple of benches where people sit, and then they talk to us. They see us working while they wait for the pizzas. So I don't do to-goes over the phone or online. It's all in.
Okay.
It was very important for me that because it's a new concept here in Cleveland, that people will get the pizzas right off the oven. And Neapolitan, I thought by saying I'm doing Neapolitan pizza, people would know what it was, but that was not the case. So I had to educate myself, like how to educate people at the same time. So for this pizza doesn't travel well or will taste different in like 10 minutes, 15 minutes. So it was very important for me that people like see us and got the pizza right as soon as it came out of the oven. And so you keep walking back, and then we have the wood. We have the office behind where the oven is, and you also have all the wood by the wall. And then I have a tiny kitchen in the back, and that's where I do the bagels. And we have the mixer, and we do the dough and stuff. So it just the vision, it was just everything worked out from once we put the oven, everything out, like mapped it out, and it was all around the oven.
I love that that's your focal point. With the style of oven that you have, it's a showpiece, and for it to be the focal point makes a lot of sense.
Absolutely.
It's very interesting. Like people walk in, and like especially men, they see the fire and they're like, oh.
I throw some meat in that fire.
I love it. You know, something I'm curious about is, you know, with Neapolitan pizza and you know, being in Cleveland, Mississippi, how big is your town anyway? Like how many people?
A little bit over 11,000.
Oh, okay. So it's a good sized small town.
Yes, we have a university, and that brings a lot like students, and we have a few like industries that bring people from out of town and like from other parts of the world as well. So we do get people that have traveled to Naples, that have tried our pizza, and like thankfully so far they've said that it reminds them to Naples. So
You've
Yeah,
kind of added your own spin on the traditional Neapolitan too. Talk about kind of like what you're doing with your pizzas to kind of make it really your own, because you're getting a lot of recognition for just how unique you're making your pizzas.
well, I'm from Mexico. I was born and raised in Sonora, Mexico. It's
Hmm.
a state that borders with Arizona. So I've added some ingredients that I grew up and reminds me of home. And one of the pizzas that it's not on the menu all the time, but I bring from time to time is called the Sonoran.
Hmm.
And instead of tomato sauce, I add refried beans and then mozzarella cheese, bacon, chorizo, and then I topped it off with roasted salsa verde.
Oh my
So
goodness.
that's when I bring it out. It's very popular, and I also always mention to customers, just a suggestion, like if you have leftover, that's a great breakfast slice. Just put a fried egg on it, and it's
Oh yeah.
just makes it. You just make it, and every time I bring it back, it sells a little more, a little more, a little more. Because in the beginning, people were a little bit apprehensive or like no,
Hmm.
like just what they will know. But now they're like starting to try different things because most of my menu stays the same, but there's only one pizza that I change every week.
Okay.
um Last week I had a vodka sauce with mozzarella, chorizo, Mexican chorizo, and the cup and char sausage,
Oh
Mm.
and
wow.
scallops of ricotta, and it was very popular. And like this week, I'm gonna bring back another pizza that I did last year, and it was with white sauce. It's a Parmesan garlic white sauce with thin sliced potatoes,
Mhm.
bacon, and finish it up with green onions, and it just tastes like a baked potato. It's
Oh, I
just
love
Oh,
that.
wow.
yeah, it's so good, and people have been asking me about it. So just little things here and there that I changed. I've done al pastor pizza. I've
Yeah.
done like rib, like Mexican, like rib style meat,
Mhm.
and yeah, people have been coming in. They get one regular and then one different one that from they're used to. So that's been good, and they make it their mission to come and tell me like that what they've had. And that's the good thing about an open concept like kitchen, that they can see me and they want to come and say hello and like um tell me how their pizza was. So it's been great. I get to meet lots of people, so it's been great.
That's awesome. I know you have kind of limited operating hours, but you do that very purposefully because of where you're located and for yourself. Can you tell us a little bit more about how you kind of came up with doing that that opening structure and how it's worked out for you?
Yeah, so my first month it was only pop-ups. I
Hmm.
pop-ups here and there. It was for my staff, like to get used to, like to learn, like we'll all learn together just to get used to this like our new concept. And then at the same time to learn how many doughs we were gonna go through a day, and just it was just like a strategy for us to have the data and learn from there. And then originally I thought I would be open for lunch and dinner, and that quickly uh for me, because I'm the one that forms and shapes like the pizzas. I was like, do this for lunch and dinner, and at the same time do bagels. So I
Yeah.
wanted bagels and pizza, but I was limited on like the space and like to do them together. I did it one time and it was a little bit chaotic. Uh, I had to separate them, and just only did it on Saturdays and do breakfast sandwiches, bacon, egg and cheese, sausage, egg and cheese. So and I'm use the oven to toast the bagels.
Yeah.
So bagels and pizza at the same time, it was just, I just couldn't make it work. And I am working on trying to open an extra day. I want to do Sundays. Wednesdays, we're in the, church is big here. Like people go to church a lot, which is great. And Wednesdays, I don't think, because they're at church, I don't think I will get that many like business. So I think Sundays will be best for me. So I'm working towards that. I'm like training a couple of my staff members at the same time. So that was before the New York Times article.
So tell us about the New York Times article. Absolutely.
Now that it came out, I don't know when I'm gonna find time to train my staff. So we were about 3 weeks ago that New York Times came out with a list of the best 22 pizzerias, I think, and they named Leña and one of the 22 pizzerias, and we knew that there was an article gonna come out, but that we were gonna be with other 2 pizzerias from like small towns. That's what I was told, and I was like, great, if there's other pizzerias and not just one, it will be better to get lost in the with several pizzerias. And when the article came out, we just, that was like huge news. We couldn't believe it. It was insanity. I couldn't like celebrate right away. My husband wasn't here. He was flying at the time. And I feel like I process better when we're together. And I'm still out of words about that one.
Yeah. So have you had to change your procedures on Thursday to Saturday to, handle, do you have an influx of people coming in that are traveling to get to you?
Yes, we've had to, we've had to start prepping like a certain way. Like we changed the way we prepped. I've been having to be here a little bit more, especially at the beginning of the week, and try to get other things done for when we start prepping. And we've increased our number of dough balls. But the weekend of July 4th was insane. It was just the busiest we've ever been, and there were people outside the restaurant just waiting for us to be open, and we were like getting ready, and we couldn't believe it. There was like there were people taking photos, and I had a worker that was folding boxes, and she was like, Marisol, like there's people outside. Photos. I feel like I'm at the zoo. I said, yes, let's get ready. Are we ready? Let's not focus on that. And like we had to, people were coming in before opening, and it was just, it was crazy. And many people mentioned the article, and they were here because of it. I've had people come in from Arkansas, Memphis, from Birmingham, from New Orleans, that they said they came because of the article. So it's been crazy.
Wow. So
That's
what's
awesome.
next for you? What do you want to do with your newfound star status, and like where do you want to take your business?
I think that we're just gonna keep doing what we're doing. We don't know how the next few months are gonna be. And I'm sure the workers that I have right now, a lot of them are students. So I want to secure like a team, and I need to hire more people too, because the ones that are working right now, like they're working really hard and long hours, so I don't want to overwork them as well. So I'm gonna focus on finding like good workers and just keep what I'm doing. November, December are really busy months for us because Cleveland has this thing called 50 Nights of Lights, and they start downtown. They just put hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of Christmas lights. It's like a Hallmark movie in here. And it starts like at the beginning of November, and they put all these lights, and people come from all over Mississippi and from other states as well. So I know that we're gonna be busy just because of that. So we'll just prepare and do what we're doing. I don't have any plans of expanding. This is my baby. This is I like what we're doing and how we're doing it, and we're gonna keep putting good quality food and just keep doing what we're doing.
Good for you. Very
I love
exciting
it.
times for you right now.
Yeah, absolutely.
That's awesome. I think about, I'll ask this as your last question because I know you're a busy woman. But what advice do you have for somebody else that maybe was in the restaurant industry, is in the restaurant industry, and maybe wants to go out on their own and doesn't really know what to do or how to do it? What advice would you have for them?
Well, I was there. I was on the same boat, and I just asked all my friends, like friends and non-friends, like I just asked questions and I asked for suggestions and advice. And from there, I just started um, thinking about making a plan, right?
Mm-hmm.
It's very daunting to think about like opening a restaurant, especially right now in this economy, and like food prices are going up. But I would say don't be afraid of starting small. Like I started like small as well. I actually like got an uni before all this and started doing like dinners at my house, and I had friends over and I would ask them for their suggestions and advice, and people in the industry as well. I would just reach out and just ask questions, and that's how I started. I started small doing that, and then opening or just getting the restaurant ready, like doing pop-ups. Like I started very, very, very small because I've been on the other end. I used to work at another restaurant. We started like really big and got burned out really quickly. So just start small, ask questions, reach out to people. People are very generous with their knowledge and their time. And I think that if they see something there, they're like, help out. And I've been very lucky that my community have been very, very helpful as well and very supportive. So don't be afraid to reach out and ask the questions, all the questions.
That's perfect. I
Great
love
advice.
it.
Yeah.
That's amazing.
Congratulations. You've got so many positive things going on right now. A lot of helium, as we like to say. You're really blowing up and taking flight. So congrats and keep up the great work.
I'll
Absolutely.
definitely do my best. This is my baby, and it just makes me feel like it's not only for me, it's also for the town that I live. It's hopefully great things will come to our town as well.
Absolutely. I love it. Well, thank you so much for coming onto the show and talking to us about what's happening with your business. And I hope that everyone gets out and reads The Rising Stars, where we have a Q&A with you, and then, and just continues to follow you and your success.
Thank you so much. Thank you, guys.
Thank you. Have a great day.
All right. Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.